Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In today's financial news, the government's latest snapshot of the job market was bleak, a sign that the economic recovery is running out of steam, with 14.6 million Americans still searching for work. Job growth proved anemic in July as government cut jobs and private sector employers barely expanded. The economy shed 131,000 jobs as 143,000 temporary census workers fell off federal payrolls. Private sector employment grew by 71,000 in July after a downwardly revised 31,000 in June. Government employment, not counting census workers, fell by 59,000. The unemployment rate held steady at 9.5%, largely because people gave up hope of finding work and left the labor force. The latest figures confirm the labor market has lost much of its momentum in recent months. The private sector has added 90,000 jobs a month on average so far this year, well below the 125,000 needed monthly just to keep up with population growth, let alone recover the 8 million jobs lost during the recession. Two-thirds of the private sector job creation this year occurred in March and April, when the economy's trajectory appeared stronger. In U.S. news, the Senate confirmed Elena Kagan to a seat on the Supreme Court, giving President Obama his second appointment to the High Court in a year, and a political victory as the Senate neared the end of its business for the summer. Ms. Kagan, a former dean of the Harvard Law School and a legal advisor in both the Clinton and Obama administrations, was approved by a vote of 63 to 37 after hearings and floor debate that showcased competing views of Democrats and Republicans about the court, but exposed no significant stumbling blocks to her confirmation. She becomes the fourth woman ever named to the court and will join two other women currently serving, including Justice Sonia Sotomayor and the first Obama administration nominee, who was confirmed almost exactly 1 year ago. 5 Republicans joined 56 Democrats and 2 independents in supporting the nomination. 36 Republicans and 1 Democrat, Senator Ben Nelson of Nebraska, opposed her, in a sign that the importance of the moment was there. Senators were asked to record their votes from their desks. The sharp partisan divide over the nomination illustrated the increasing political polarization of the fights over his court nominees, who were in years past backed by both parties in the absence of some disqualifying factor. Ms. Kagan received fewer Republican votes than Justice Sotomayor, who was supported by 9 in her 68 to 31 confirmation on August 6th of 2009. At age 50, Ms. Kagan could have a long tenure in the court, but her confirmation is not seen as significantly altering the current closely divided ideological makeup of the court, which is often split 5 to 4 on major decisions. Most Senate Republicans challenged Ms. Kagan's nomination until the end, asserting that she lacked sufficient experience and had unfairly stigmatized the military by supporting a ban on recruiters at Harvard Law over the military's ban on gays serving openly. Republicans said her record in both Democratic administrations and her ties to Mr. Obama suggested that she would be an activist judge with liberal views who would try to imprint her own political values on court opinions. In international news, Russia banned all exports of grain after millions of acres of wheat withered in severe drought, a pretentious decision at a time when crop failures caused by heat and flooding span the northern hemisphere. Russia's Prime Minister Vladimir Putin announced the ban from August 15th to December 31st, saying it was necessary to curb rising prices for food inside Russia, one of the world's largest wheat exporters, which is suffering the hottest temperatures recorded since record-keeping began more than 130 years ago. Rail cars heaped with fresh grain were already grinding to a halt around Russia, stopped in mid-harvest and mid-journey from the country's vast, iconic wheat fields to the main grain exporting ports of the Black Sea. The decision caused an immediate and sharp rise in the already high global price of wheat. It rose more than 8% in early trading on the Chicago Board of Trade, after having increased about 90% since June because of the drought in Russia, Ukraine, and parts of the European Union, as well as floods in Canada.
These are the most powerful songs of all time. Time Life presents Classical Power on 5 CDs for just $29.99. But wait, order in the next 10 minutes with your credit card, and we'll cut the price to just $14.99. That's right, you get 5 CDs for just $14.99. Then preview other beautiful classical CDs. Satisfaction guaranteed. This collection is not sold in stores, so call now and get Time Life's Classic Old Power on 5 CDs for just $14.99.
Call 1-800-731-0511.
In entertainment news, after 29 years as a host, Mary Hart is saying goodbye to the Entertainment Tonight celebrity news television show when it wraps up its 30th season that starts this fall. Mary said, "I've reached a point when I clearly realize it's time for a change. There are many things I want to do in my life, and I'd better get on with them." The final season kicks off September 13th. The syndicated magazine show has not decided who will take over Hart's hosting duties. Executive producer Linda Bell Blue said in a statement, "Right now we are focused on making this next season the very best of Hart's long history with Entertainment Tonight." In tech news, if there are still doubts about the Android juggernaut, the latest numbers from Google should help settle it. Google CEO Eric Schmidt said some 200,000 new Android devices are being sold each day, up from about 100,000 just 2 months ago. Schmidt told attendees at the technology conference, Android is not just phenomenal, but incredibly phenomenal in its growth rate. Google's comment comes on the heels of data from Nielsen earlier this week that showed for the first time people in the U.S. bought more Android phones than iPhones. Research from iSupply predicts Android's market share will surpass that of the iPhone OS in 2012. By 2012, Android will be used in 75 million smartphones, up from 5 million in 2009. iOS will be in 62 million phones in 2012, up from 25 million in 2009. That means in 2 years, Android will have 19.4% market share worldwide among smartphone operating systems, up from 2.7% in 2009. Apple's iOS for the iPhone will see its share go up to 15.9% in 2012 from 13.8% in 2009. Android's rapid growth should come as no surprise to industry watchers since Google worked with HTC and T-Mobile to launch the first Android-based smartphone in 2008. The open-source operating system has been adopted by major handset manufacturers, including Samsung, Motorola, and HTC. In health news, a Michigan man credited his dog with saving his life by chewing off his diseased big toe as he lay passed out in a drunken stupor. Jerry Douay, who is 48, woke up a night in late July in his Rockford, Michigan home to find his Jack Russell Terrier, Kiko, had gnawed off his right big toe. Douay said, "The dog always lays with me on the bed. That night I woke up and looked down at my foot and it was wet. When I looked, there was blood, and there was the dog looking at me with a blood mustache." Douay's wife, Rosie, rushed him to the hospital where doctors found he was suffering from type 2 diabetes. His toe was badly infected and surgeons amputated the remainder of the digit. Douay's wife, a registered nurse, had been urging him for weeks to have his infected toe examined by a doctor. On the night Kiko ate his toe, Douay said he had been out with his wife and drank 6 or 7 beers, a pair of giant margaritas big enough to put a goldfish in. Mr. Douay said, "I was self-medicating at this point. The moral of the story is that the dog saved my life, because otherwise I never would have gone in to see a doctor." The couple said they were amazed that Kiko appeared to know Douay had an infection that needed treatment. In green news, by the time today's toddlers graduate from high school, the most common bat in North America may have vanished altogether from the eastern United States. Researchers combine historical population trends with mortality counts in brown bat colonies struck by white nose syndrome, an extraordinarily virulent bat disease first identified in 2006. According to their models, the little brown bat has a 99% chance of vanishing from the east soon. White nose syndrome, or WHS, named after a fungus that grows on infected bats, which become weakened and die after waking too soon from hibernation, was first found in upstate New York. Since then, it spread through caves as far south as Tennessee and west as far as Oklahoma. In some caves, mortality is almost total. Caves where bats lived since the last ice age now stand silent. Much remains to be learned about how WNS spreads, how it kills, and where it came from, none of which is known for certain. Some researchers have proposed spraying caves with fungicides, but none have proven effective. Immunization is even more hypothetical. The disease is so new that scientists only now are agreeing that the fungus is likely a cause rather than a symptom. All that is certain is that bats are dying. More than 1 million have died so far, a die-off comparable to slaughters of passenger pigeons or Great Plains bison, only faster. Scientists have declared it the most precipitous decline of North American wildlife in recorded history, a diagnosis quantified by the Little Brown Bat predictions published August 15th in Science magazine.
Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
The makeup in today's program is provided by MAC Cosmetics.